Hi, my name is Ashley Nadas. I would first off like to thank you for taking the time to view my final project. This year has been an ever-evolving journey, one that started even before I entered Full Sail University. Through this presentation, I hope to recap my journey and explain my ARP. In June of last year, I found out that I was going to be teaching 5th grade for the first time. I was very excited for this challenge, and it was a change I was very much looking forward to. Not long after finding out about my move, I received information about Full Sail University and within a few days decided to enroll. Classes are starting in a few weeks and only 2 days after my wedding. Around the same time I enrolled in Full Sail, I was selected to be part of an ARA grant for 21st century classrooms at the school where I work. As I began my first class at Full Sail, Media Literacy and Research Methodologies, we were told about the Action Research Project and began our basic research during this class. I was sure my Action Research Project would be based on the ARA grant, but I didn't know where it would fit in and how it would go along with my research. As the school year began, I found out the technologies I would be receiving and was excited to see how the research I was currently doing would apply to these technologies. During EDE, we were asked to create a short video demonstrating what our Action Research Project was about. This was the short video that I created. Students in my 5th grade classroom used the interactive whiteboard to sign in and take their own attendance each day. In a perfect classroom, interactive whiteboards would be available for students and teachers to use. Student response devices, also known as clickers, allow teachers to poll an entire class. Digital cameras, as well as digital video cameras, would allow students to capture and create their own media presentations. Some of the benefits of a 21st century classroom are increased student involvement, higher test scores, and an increase in student motivation. As you can see at this point, my Action Research Project was based almost solely on the technology use in my classroom. As I began my research for my literature review, I stumbled upon the Partnership for 21st Century Skills. This website opened my eyes to a variety of information, and for the first time I began to realize that a 21st century classroom was not just based around technology. It was teaching students the skills necessary to stand apart from others in a 21st century workforce, such skills as teamwork, leadership, and a sense of community. This is where my Action Research Project really began to fall into place. Yes, knowing how to use technology is important, but so is a sense of belonging and community, especially in a society where entire friendships and relationships can be developed and established without ever meeting face-to-face. During Cycle 1 of my Action Research Project, I designed a project in which students became travel agents for different biomes around the world. The consumer needed to know everything about their biome before they visit it. They were allowed to use any means they wanted, video, PowerPoint, or good old poster paper. Before we began, I conducted a Google survey to see how much they actually knew about technology. Those results were surprising. Aside from social media and gaming, they knew very little about how to use the internet for research, and even less about the software available on the computers. Although the projects came out great, a large chunk of instructional time was spent helping students who were less familiar with the software. As a recommendation from one of my critical friends, I implemented C3 Before Me in Cycle 2. C3 Before Me develops even more of a sense of community. Students should direct their question at 3 classmates before asking the teacher. Cycle 2 was also a student-created project. For this project, they created video documentaries of characters from the Lewis and Clark expedition. As you can see, the students worked extremely hard to develop these projects and were very proud of their final products. The digital story I created for FPE shows what I feel is truly a 21st century classroom. As a wrap-up to a unit on recycling, I asked my 5th grade students a simple question. What can you do to make a difference? They were to write their ideas on a piece of paper, and we were going to choose the best 2 to implement in our classroom. This is our journey. This was a self-guided, project-based learning activity that my students created on their own. This project was something I planned on only spending a week or 2 on. It ended up lasting until the end of the school year. Not only were my students involved, but they got their family, friends, and neighbors to donate items for recycling. Connecting back to my research from the Partnership for 21st Century Skills, this activity got my students involved, motivated, and excited. For the first time, I really felt like my classroom was a 21st century classroom. We weren't necessarily using technology, but my students felt like they were making a true difference in the community. And I feel like that is the most important factor in a 21st century classroom.
Can you?
Looking back on my journey through my action research project, I feel like I accomplished my goal. My students were excited and motivated to come to my class each day. Although my idea of what a 21st century classroom is has changed, I feel it is something that I will be able to develop even further in the years to come. I think it is important for people to realize 21st century classroom does not necessarily mean technology. It is about using technology to its fullest potential, teamwork, leadership, and community. Thank you again for taking the time to view my action research project.